Okay, so let's get on to our final article of the day. And that is going to be about the Michigan Supreme Court vote. So let's get right into it. This is an article from CNN written by Veronica Strack-Willersi. Michigan Supreme Court orders abortion rights initiative to appear on November ballot. The Michigan Supreme Court ordered Thursday that a citizen initiative ballot measure seeking to enshrine abortion rights in the state constitution be added to the November ballot. The court's 5-2 ruling was issued the day before Michigan's ballot needs to be finalized on Friday. The order directs the Board of State Canvassers to certify the reproductive freedom for all petition. Let me start that over. The order directs the Board of State Canvassers to certify the reproductive freedom for all petition as sufficient and eligible for placement on the ballot. This comes after the board had deadlocked on a two-party line vote on whether to certify the ballot initiative last week, leading Reproductive Freedom for All to ask the Supreme Court to intervene. The board officially certified the ballot measure for the November ballot on Friday. The motion to certify passed 4-0. The measure will appear on the ballot as Proposal 3, which would establish an individual right to reproductive freedom, including right to make and carry out all decisions about pregnancy. Backers of the amendment say it will block Michigan's 1931 abortion law, which bans all abortions except to save the mother's life. We are energized and motivated now more than ever to restore the protections that were lost under Roe, Darcy McConnell, Reproductive Freedom for All campaign's communication director, said in a statement Thursday after the ruling. So this is fantastic, man. I mean, the Republicans really overplayed their hand this year, I think. They really showed how extreme and insane, not necessarily the average right winger is, because the statistics are actually surprising. Most people who identify on the right actually do support abortion rights, and they do think that this is extreme. Or if it's not, most of them, about 50% of them do, which is pretty significant, obviously. And this kind of attack on basic human rights, which is like a global laughingstock around the world, I might add, is really starting to get the politically disengaged into the fight. You know what I mean? Because this directly affects like half the population of people, man. Like, and as many other streamers have said, and many other pundits have said, if women can't find, or people who can get pregnant can't find adequate, safe ways to get an abortion, they're going to find illegal, unsafe ways to get an abortion. The only thing that abortion criminalization does is cause more pain and suffering, causes just dysfunction, man. And people know when they're ready to have a child and when they can't afford to have a child, you know? And these are the same people who will fight and fight and fight to take away your right to not decide what grows in your body. But the second that fetus becomes a child, they kick it to the curbs and say, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, man. You know, it's sickening, man. But people are getting mobilized, man. The numbers on this petition is fucking crazy. It reads, in its staff report to the board, the Bureau of Elections estimated the petition had 596,379 valid signatures, about 146,000 more than the minimum required for certification. Now, it's hard. It's really, really hard to mobilize people in this way. That's over 500,000 people, almost 600,000 people who are pissed off at the government for being so freaking extreme, man. Opponents, however, have challenged the proposed amendment over the petition's lack of spacing between words. Now, this shit is fucking ridiculous. So these ghouls and freaking goblins who are in the state legislature over in Michigan, they are trying to say that this petition is not valid because they didn't space it correctly. That's how freaking desperate they are, man. It's so fucking stupid. Uh in its Thursday order, the state Supreme Court pointed to a 2012 ruling that said the board's duty with respect to petitions is limited to determining form and content and whether there are enough signatures. Michigan law requires that petitions have the full text of the amendment after the summary and must be printed in 8-point type. The court said that regardless of the existence or extent of the spacing, all of the words remain and they remain in the same order, and it is not disputed that they are printed in 8-point type. So it's never about democracy with these freaking people, man. Like, do you see the ridiculous lengths that they'll go to try and push minority rule, dude? Like, it's fucking crazy. They try to fall back on the bureaucratic fucking bullshit instead of just realizing that they are the minority and they're in the wrong and letting democracy play its course. But that's right out of the right-wing playbook, man. I have some maps that show how, specifically in Michigan, the Republican Party has severely gerrymandered counties to get these unpopular laws and legislation put into place. You'll see in this map when they redrew it, they specifically do all of these crazy. This one isn't as severe as some of the more wacky freaking district maps, but basically they find where their demographic is and try to cut out a region so that only their voting block is within that district. So they inflate their own power, man. Take a look at some of these maps. Freaking ridiculous. They literally erase an entire Democratic region so they could maintain their grip on power, man. The Republicans are not, I mean, they have a decent amount of people who are their supporters, around like anywhere from like 29 to like 35% of the population like identifies as Republican, but that's still a minority, man. Most people are not Republican. And they use their Republicans play dirty, man, and Democrats aren't any better. I mean, they're just spineless, bureaucratic idiots who don't get anything done and just placate, and they act like they're woke without actually doing anything. But the Republicans, they may be shitty, but they know how to play politics, and they're competent at subverting democracy. You know, we'll see more here. You know. It's crazy. It's freaking crazy. All these freaking jigsaw piece puzzles. I mean, look at this district. It goes here, all the way down, and the only reason it is drawn like this is so they can squeeze out those extra votes, man. And in the vast majority of places in the United States, if we just made districts geographical instead of political, there would almost be no Republicans in office, man. This is how they get shit like abortion banned, through their political scheming and subversion of the will of the people. It's truly sickening, but people are starting to wake up to the bullshit, man. All over the country, people are starting to register to vote in historic numbers, man. We have 2 articles. We're not going to read them, but I just wanted to show you that it's not just Michigan who got their ass kicked into gear after this ruling on Roe v. Wade. We see in Ohio, which is a usually more conservative state. You see a surge in women registering to vote after abortion access has been restricted. And you see here, I'm not going to pay for this. You see in the Houston Chronicle, young Democrats are flocking to register to vote in Texas after abortion ruling. So they're pissing people off, especially young people, and they kind of did our jobs for us in a fucked up way, you know? People like me, people who are a little bit more politically active and looking into all this stuff, try to talk to people about how politics is serious, how it affects everyone. It's not just some game, man. Like, it can affect you severely if you just let the political machine run without democratic input, you know? So it's good to see people coming together trying to get these fucked up people out of office so we can have actual human rights in the United States. And I think this is a trend that's going to continue and continue as the older generation dies off. I know that sounds fucked up, but you know, they didn't have the same access to information and the same uh, amount of information that we have. On top of their only real news sources really just being propaganda outlets like like CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and the State Department. You know, who are just traditionally very conservative, very regressive, and very authoritarian. You know, but it's good to see people just, like I said, sticking together and trying to fight for our rights. That's what it's all about, man.